Radio. Welcome to the African History Network show. It is Thursday, February 3rd, 2022, and we are live. I'm your host, Brother Michael Imhotep. So I saw this story. We posted on our Facebook fan page, The African History Network. It's from the Associated Press, picked up by Huffington Post. It got over 2,000 likes and a lot of comments on our Facebook fan page. Bill Cosby and his attorneys are asking the U.S. Supreme Court not to revive the sexual assault case that was overturned in 2021, in July of 2021. A lawyer for Bill Cosby asked the U.S. Supreme Court on Monday, January 31st, to reject a bid by prosecutors to revive his criminal sexual assault case. So we're going to talk about this because back in November, it was about November 29th, we got the news that the district attorney, Kevin Steele, Montgomery County, Pennsylvania district attorney Kevin Steele, was attempting to revive the case, and he wanted the U.S. Supreme Court to take up the case. Okay, so we have an update in that story. So we'll talk about that. And this is a story that the Associated Press picked up. How's everybody doing on our social media platforms? Turn live notifications so you know when we go live. Now, if you did not get a chance to call in yesterday when we talked about Whoopi Goldberg, and I was dealing with the history of Afro-Germans in Hitler killing Afro-Germans, also how that's left out of the conversation oftentimes. You can give us a call, 313-778-7600 if you have a question or comment. 313-778-7600 is the call-in number if you have a question or comment, okay? And then also the second story that I want to deal with. So the first one is dealing with Bill Cosby. And I know the documentary from Kamal Bell is coming out. Let's talk about Bill Cosby or something like that. So we'll see, because as I said before, it's clear Bill Cosby is a freak, but there's a whole lot of freaks in Hollywood, or Hollyweird as some people call it. So we'll see what happens with the documentary. But Brian Flores, the former Miami Dolphins head coach, filed a discrimination lawsuit against the N.F.L. on Tuesday, February 1st, the first day of African American History Month, first day of Black History Month. This is a bombshell lawsuit, and it has a lot of people scrambling. I saw an interview that Brian Flores did on All In with Chris Hayes on MSNBC. So we're going to talk about that here on this show, and I'm going to play that interview for you as well. So this deals with the fact that you have 32, part of the problem, you have 32 NFL teams, only one African-American head coach. The league, now the numbers I'm seeing from 2021 is that the league is 59% African-American. We know a couple of years ago it was 70% African-American. But we see clear discrimination in the NFL and the hiring of coaches, and also we don't have a single African-American owner of an NFL team either. So Brian Flores, who was fired as head coach of the Miami Dolphins in December, well, it was last month, he was fired. He was a winning head coach, which also brings to mind something else, that it appears that the African-American head coaches are held to a much higher standard than white head coaches are. White head coaches get more time to lose and find their rhythm, more seasons to do that than African American head coaches also. But Brian Flores sues NFL claiming bias in coaching search. New York Times has a big article about this. Then also there's a good piece from NBC News. I'm going to share the interview that Chris Hayes did with Brian Flores on MSNBC. The former head coach of the Miami Dolphins claimed in a class action lawsuit filed on Tuesday, first day of African American History Month, Tuesday. He claims that the NFL discriminated against him and other African American coaches in their hiring practices. And one of the things that he talks about in the lawsuit, he claims that more than 40 other African Americans who applied for head coaching positions could join the lawsuit as well. More than 40 others could join the lawsuit as well. So we're going to talk about those two stories. Calling numbers 313-778-7600. 313-778-7600 is the calling number if you have a question or comment. Be sure to register for the online classes that I teach on Saturdays and Sundays. They start up this weekend. On Saturday, February 5th, it is Ancient Kemet, the Moors, and the Ma'afa. Understanding the transatlantic slave trade, what they didn't teach you in school. Ancient Kemet, the Moors, and the Ma'afa. Understanding the transatlantic slave trade, what they didn't teach you in school. We deal with thousands of years of history and what leads up to the transatlantic slave trade taking place. This is Saturday, February 5th, 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's a 10-week online class that I teach. We deal with thousands of years of history. Click right here to register here. The class is on sale, $80, regularly $130. We have a bundle pack. You can register for both classes. The second class is from the Civil War to the Civil Rights Movement and Black Power, 1865 to 1968. So we have a bundle pack. You can register for both classes for only for $120. And once you register for them, you have full access to them. So even a year, 2 years from now, if you want to go back and watch the full class, you can do that. All right. And you can use these with your children. I would say the content is PG-13. And I do a PowerPoint presentation with book references, articles, video clips, everything. So visit our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. You can register there. I'll post the link here also. All right, you listen to the African History Network show right here on 910 a.m. the Superstation, the Future Radio. Your host, Brother Michael Imhotep. We'll be back in a few minutes. Stand by. Back from break in 4 minutes. How's everybody doing? Share this broadcast on your social media platform. Stand by. All right, who we have here? We have Sharon. Stand by. We'll talk about Bill Cosby when we come back from the break. Okay, if you like this type of information, you can support the African History Network, $ the AHN show through Cash App. $ the AHN show through Cash App, also through PayPal, paypal.me/the AHN show. Stand by. All right. Who saw our show yesterday when we dealt with Whoopi Goldberg being suspended from The View? And ABC is getting backlash from fans of The View who say Whoopi Goldberg should not have been suspended. Stand by. Hearing some of the comments, I could tell some people really don't understand history. Back from break in 2 minutes. Oh, hell, we got to send this. Stand by, back from break in 2 minutes. All right, I have to get ready for this next segment. Back from break in 1 minute. Welcome back to the African History Network show right here on 910 a.m. the Superstation of Future Radio. I'm your host, Brother Michael Imhotep. It is Thursday, February 3rd, 2022, third day of African American History Month. And we are live. It's been a very busy week. And I'm getting ready this weekend to teach my online classes, Ancient Kemet, the Moors, and the Ma'afa, understanding the transatlantic slave trade, what they didn't teach you in school. And then also from the Civil War to the Civil Rights Movement and Black Power, 1865 to 1968. So that's going to be Saturday, February 5th and Sunday, February 6th, 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, both days. Both of those classes start up 10-week online classes. Visit our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, for more information. And you can register for the classes there. As soon as you register, there's bonus content you can start watching. All right, calling number is 313-778-7600 is the calling number if you have a question or comment. So I want to jump into this first topic here dealing with Bill Cosby, okay? And this is an update to a story we talked about in November and an update to his release, update to his release from prison in 2021, June of 2021, when his conviction was overturned by the Pennsylvania State Supreme Court. So there's a piece from the Associated Press. We're going to go to clip one from NBC News here in just a minute, Shakita, dealing with Bill Cosby. So cue that up, please. Bill Cosby asks Supreme Court not to revive sexual assault case. Now, this is from January 31st, 2022, from the Associated Press, picked up by Huffington Post, and yourblackworld.net published this story as well. We posted the article from yourblackworld.net on our Facebook fan page, The African History Network. So if we look at this here, a lawyer for Bill Cosby asked the U.S. Supreme Court on Monday to reject a bid by prosecutors to revive his criminal sexual assault case. Okay, a lawyer for Bill Cosby asked the U.S. Supreme Court on Monday to reject a bid by prosecutors to revive his criminal sexual assault case. Now, we found out back in November, it was basically November of 2021, we found out that the Montgomery County, Pennsylvania District Attorney, Kevin Steele, who was the one who prosecuted Bill Cosby, we found out that he was going to go to the Supreme Court, trying to get them to take up the case again. There's a article from November of 2021 from NBC News that talks about this. November 29th, 2021. So we talked about this here on this show when it happened. Okay. Now we have an update in the story, and Bill Cosby's attorney is asking the U.S. Supreme Court not to take up the case. Now, the U.S. Supreme Court, just because now I know it's cliche-ish in movies and things like this, we'll take this all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court. Well, it's up to the Supreme Court whether or not they hear your case. The Supreme Court only hears about 1% of cases based upon the request that they get. Based upon the request that they get on a yearly basis, the term that the Supreme Court is in session, they only hear 1% of the cases. So I know it's cliche-ish and in movies and things like this. We'll take this all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court. Well, good chance it won't go to the Supreme Court. Now, this is from November 29th, 2021. Okay, NBC News. Bill Cosby prosecutors ask Supreme Court to review decision to overturn conviction. Now, we reported on this when this happened back November 29th, 2021. The Montgomery County, Pennsylvania District Attorney's Office said a, quote, grievous wrong, end quote, can be corrected. All right, now, prosecutors in Pennsylvania asked the U.S. Supreme Court to review the decision that overturned Bill Cosby's indecent assault conviction, arguing in a petition that Bill Cosby was incorrectly shielded from prosecution. Arguing in a petition that Bill Cosby was incorrectly shielded from prosecution. The Montgomery County District Attorney's Office said in a statement on Monday in November of 2021. Okay, so that was Monday, November 29th, 2021. The Montgomery County District Attorney's Office said in a statement Monday, November 29th, 2021, that Bill Cosby, age 84, should not have been granted immunity because a media statement issued by a previous district attorney said sexual assault charges would not be filed. Okay, so that was the previous district attorney, Bruce Castor, okay, who in his re-election bid, and Kevin Steele. Well, it was Bruce Castor. Kevin Steele is the new district attorney. Kevin Steele ran on the part of his platform for running for district attorney was that he would prosecute Bill Cosby. Quote, where a prosecutor publicly announces that he will not file criminal charges based on lack of evidence, does the due process clause of the 14th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution transform that announcement into a binding promise that no charges will ever be filed, a promise that the target may rely on as if it were a grant of immunity, end quote. Okay, the statement asks. All right, so read this here. This is from November 29th, 2021, where we first got the word that prosecutor Kevin Steele was going to try to take this case to the U.S. Supreme Court to get them to overturn Cosby's conviction being struck down or overturned in the Pennsylvania State Supreme Court. Okay, this is from NBC News. Now, we have an update to this story, and we see that, let's close this out here. Okay, so let's go back to this one here from January 31st, 2022, Associated Press and Huffington Post. Bill Cosby and his attorneys are asking the U.S. Supreme Court not to revive sexual assault case. So we know Bill Cosby has been free since June 2021 when the Pennsylvania U.S. Appeals Court overturned his conviction and released him from prison after nearly 3 years. Now, the state's highest court, the Pennsylvania State Supreme Court, found that Bill Cosby believed that he had a non-prosecution agreement with a former district attorney, Bruce Castor, when he gave damaging testimony in the accuser's 2005 lawsuit. And Bill Cosby sat down for a deposition based upon the belief that he was not going to be criminally prosecuted based upon the information given in the deposition because of the agreement that he said that he had with the district attorney, Bruce Castor. And Bruce Castor publicly stated there was not enough evidence to prosecute Cosby. Now, that testimony later led to his arrest, Cosby's arrest in 2015. Now, Bill Cosby's current attorney, or one of his current attorneys, Jennifer Bonjean, says the case rests on a narrow set of facts. The case rests on a narrow set of facts that should not interest the U.S. Supreme Court. She said, notwithstanding the Commonwealth's warning of imminent catastrophic consequences, the Cosby holding will likely be confined to its own rare, if not entirely unique set of circumstances, making review by this court particularly unjustified, making review by this court particularly unjustified. Attorney Bonjean wrote in a 15-page response filed on Monday, January 31st. Now, Montgomery County, Pennsylvania District Attorney Kevin Steele's attempt, the current district attorney, Kevin Steele's attempt to revive the case is a long shot. His attempt to revive the case is a long shot. And this is something that Peter Williams, Washington correspondent for NBC News, said back in November 29th, 2021, when we got the news of the story. The U.S. Supreme Court accepts fewer than 1% of the petitions it receives. At least 4 justices of the 9-member court would have to agree to hear the case. Okay, so at least 4 Supreme Court justices would have to agree to hear the case. All right, I doubt if Neil Gorsuch wants to hear the case. I doubt if Clarence Thomas wants to hear the case. So Clarence Thomas needs to retire also. If you've been keeping up on the allegations against his wife Jeannie Thomas and her involvement with the insurrectionists, the January 6th insurrections, things like this, and some other things, he needs to resign. Now, the only written evidence of a non-prosecution promise is a 2005 news release from then District Attorney Bruce Castor, who said he did not have enough evidence to arrest Bill Cosby. Okay. Now, current District Attorney Kevin Steele does not believe that the press conference or whatever they had was to an immunity agreement. Okay, whatever deal they had, he doesn't believe that it amounts to an immunity agreement. All right, and the only thing in writing was a press release. So he does not believe that amounts to an immunity agreement. Now, Bill Cosby became the first celebrity convicted of sexual assault in the #MeToo era when the jury at his 2018 retrial found him guilty of drugging and molesting college sports administrator Andrea Constant in 2004. Now, what the Pennsylvania Supreme Court, what they basically ruled when they overturned his conviction is that he should have never been prosecuted in the first place, which is what a lot of legal scholars were saying, and people like Judge Joe Brown, even though I disagree with Judge Joe Brown on some things, but even Judge Joe Brown said this when he was convicted and after he was released. Judge Joe Brown said he should have never been prosecuted in the first place based upon the agreement that Cosby had with the previous district attorney. Now, legal scholars and victim advocates will be watching closely to see whether the U.S. Supreme Court takes an interest in the case. 2 justices on the Supreme Court, Clarence Thomas and Brett Kavanaugh, Brett Kavanaugh, that's what I was thinking of, Brett Kavanaugh, were accused of sexual misconduct during their bitterly fought confirmation hearings. Okay, we'll continue this on the other side of the break. We'll also talk about Brian Flores, former head coach of the Miami Dolphins, who filed a lawsuit against the N.F.L. alleging discrimination when it comes to hiring coaches and interviews and the Rooney Rule. He filed that lawsuit on the first day of African American History Month, first day of Black History Month. Listen to the African History Network show. I'm Michael Imhotep. We'll be back in a few minutes. All right, stand by. How's everybody doing? Share this broadcast on your social media platforms. Invite your friends to tune in also. Stand by. Back from break in 4 minutes. How's everybody doing? Okay, if you like this type of information, also, you can support the African History Network. $ the AHN show through Cash App. $ the AHN show through Cash App. Also through PayPal. PayPal.me/the AHN show. Okay, stand by. Back from break in 3 minutes. Okay, we have to get ready for this next segment. I want to play this clip here of dealing with Bill Cosby. Then we're going to go to Brian Flores. It's been a busy day, and I'm getting ready to teach these classes this weekend. Okay, who still needs to register for the online classes I teach on Saturdays and Sundays? Class number 1 starts up this weekend. Now, if you've taken online classes with me before, you can email me. You're going to get 50% off these new classes. And you can get 50% off the bundle pack also, the bundle of new classes as well. Let me post this link here. All right, how you doing, Fly Girl? Stand by. Back from break in 2 minutes. We'll go back to Bill Cosby right quick. I want to play this clip. Back from break in 1 minute. Okay, follow us on our Facebook fan page. Turn on live notifications. The African History Network, and our YouTube channel, Michael Imhotep. Turn on live notification. Give us a thumbs up or a heart if you like this broadcast.
On the African History Network show, we deal with current events in history and politics, education, economic empowerment, entrepreneurship, relationships, love, sex, health issues, and much, much more. Unfortunately, many people confuse what racism is. Racism is a power structure. It was laws and policies that put us in this predicament. It's going to be laws and policies that take us out. So when you control the radius of a man or woman's thoughts, you can control the compass of his or her actions, because the mind can't do a piece what it doesn't know.
We have it all on 910 AM Superstation. 910, the Superstation, Detroit's only African-American talk radio.
Welcome back to the African History Network show right here on 910 AM Superstation Future Radio. I'm your host, Brother Michael Imhotep. It is Thursday, February 3rd, 2022, and we are live. All right, if you want me to do a presentation for your group or organization for African American History Month, Women's History Month, Juneteenth, what have you, email me at ahnshow@africanhistorynetwork.com, ahnshow@africanhistorynetwork.com. I could do it in state, out of state. We could do it in person, virtually. Then also the online classes that I teach. If you want me to teach those to your church, your study group, your class, what have you, email me as well. We can modify the courses also. All right. Okay, so right before the break, we were talking about this story from Huffington Post and Associated Press. We're going to clip one here in just a second, Shakita. Bill Cosby asked Supreme Court not to revise sexual assault case. I just want to revisit this story from November 29th from NBC News that deals with the prosecutor, Kevin Steele, trying to get the Supreme Court to review the decision to overturn Bill Cosby's conviction. Okay, let's go to clip one, Shakita.
Asking the U.S. Supreme Court to review an appeals court ruling that overturned Bill Cosby's 28 sexual assault conviction. This is just coming into us in the last couple hours. Why? Well, because of what the DA calls a dangerous precedent that could set for immunity agreements. Cosby, remember, served less than 3 years of a 3 to 10 year sentence. And then this is one of the shots of him. He was released from prison at the end of June. I want to bring in now Pete Williams. Okay, Pete, let's break this down for a second. What is the argument here that the Montgomery County District Attorney is trying to make?
So remember what happened in the case. A woman complained that Cosby drugged and sexually attacked her. But the prosecutor at the time said, you know, I just don't think there's enough evidence. We're not going to prosecute this case. Then Cosby was sued in a civil lawsuit and in his deposition incriminated himself. But he relied on the press release from the previous prosecutor promising never to prosecute him, so he thought he was in the clear.
It was fine. There was a reasonable expectation, right, that Cosby could assume he wasn't going to get prosecuted.
And the Pennsylvania Supreme Court ruled that for that reason, his prosecution had to, he was subsequently prosecuted again. That evidence in the civil case was used against him, and the Pennsylvania Supreme Court tossed out the conviction, said no, he relied on that press release. So what the new prosecutors are now saying is that doesn't make any sense. That was not a reliable thing. The court got it wrong. Please fix it, Supreme Court. You shouldn't be able to rely on a press release to think that you're immune. There was no court finding of immunity. There was no agreement among the lawyers. So that this, they say, is a wrong decision that could cause lots of prosecutions to collapse and other people could depend on it.
Okay, so it's an interesting argument, but is it one that the Supreme Court has any chance in the world of taking up here?
Any chance in the world?
Well,
yes.
I was too broad in that piece.
Yeah,
I think you're going to...
But probably not much. This is a real long shot. Here's the reason. Number one, you don't have any right in almost every case to appeal to the Supreme Court. You have to ask. So the Supreme Court decides which cases to take. Secondly, they only generally take cases in which they view their job as harmonizing the law among the federal circuits. There's no circuit split here. This is a case that the prosecutor says straight out, this is a case of first impression. This has never happened before. The third thing is they say, you got to fix this because it's just prosecutions are going to fall apart. Well, there's nothing in the brief that says prosecutions are falling apart because of this Pennsylvania ruling. So for all those reasons, the Supreme Court just doesn't often take cases when someone says the lower court got it wrong, unless there is some huge constitutional or federal statutory issue at stake, and it's just none of those things are at present here.
Is there anything working in the DA's favor here, in the prosecution's favor, to get the Supreme Court to take them up? You just laid out 3 reasons why they probably wouldn't. Is there anything that tips the scales at least a little bit the other way?
Not that I can see. No, I think give them credit for giving us the old college try here, but I think the odds the court are going to take it are very remote.
All right.
My name is Ollie, and I'm a franchisee with...
Pause right there. All right. So that was back from November 29th, NBC News. Great reporting by Pete Williams. And once again, this is an example of how elections have consequences, because who nominates Supreme Court justices? President. Who confirms Supreme Court justices? U.S. Senate. Who elects U.S. senators? The people. And then you have the Pennsylvania State Supreme Court that overturned Bill Cosby's conviction. That's the courts, because the judicial branch of government it interprets law, and they can overrule prosecutions. They can overrule cases, things like this. So when I hear people say, oh, the Supreme Court doesn't matter, a nomination to the Supreme Court doesn't matter, first thing you should do is really read the U.S. Constitution, because that's false. All right. And this is why Republicans work so hard to get Donald Trump elected, because there were 103 vacancies on the federal bench when Trump became elected, and Trump got 226 federal judges confirmed. And he was operating based upon the list from the Federalist Society and the Heritage Foundation. We just talked about the Heritage Foundation a couple nights ago on the show, because the Heritage Foundation founded by Paul Wayrick in 1973. In the Heritage Foundation, they're anti-civil rights. They're anti-civil rights, and then also they are pushing the sister organization to the Heritage Foundation is crafting these voter suppression bills, and they crafted the Senate Bill 202 voter suppression bill in Georgia. And Jessica Anderson, who is the executive director of the Heritage Foundation, she admitted it. She got caught on tape. It was leaked to Ari Berman and Mother Jones. We talked about this May 13th, 2021, when this story broke. Leaked video, Dark Money Group brags about writing GOP voter suppression bills around the country. If you watch this show, you know we dealt with this, because a lot of this superfluous nonsense floating around, we don't deal with that. We do a real substance here. We may talk about AJ Johnson and her threesome with two men when she was turned 50. We may do that because we do talk about sex here. I mean, it has its purpose, but we deal with substance here as well. Okay, so I might have to get some experts on to talk about that, because I know absolutely nothing about threesomes. That's just, I have no experience. Okay. That's a whole nother conversation. We ain't gonna go there. I'm about to get some experts on. I have absolutely no expertise in that subject matter whatsoever. So I got to get some experts on to talk about that. But anyway, so Jessica Anderson was the executive director of the Heritage Action for America, which is the sister organization to the Heritage Foundation. She was caught on tape explaining how they crafted these bills that are being pushed through Republican-dominated state legislatures. And she said that in a private meeting last month, so this article came out May 13th, 2021, okay? In a private meeting last month with big money donors, the head of a top conservative group boasted that her outfit had crafted the new voter suppression law in Georgia, Senate Bill 202, okay, which is, and because of that bill, Major League Baseball removed or moved the All-Star game from Atlanta, Georgia, after this voter suppression bill was passed, okay? Within 1 hour of it passing the state legislature in Georgia, Brian Kemp, the governor who stole the election from Stacey Abrams, Brian Kemp signed this bill within 1 hour of it passing the state legislature. He's in a room with 6 other white men. I call them the 7 dwarfs. There was only white men in the room. Behind him was a famous painting of a slave plantation in Georgia called the Callaway Plantation. Outside, you have a African-American female member of the state legislature trying to get in, knocking on the door, trying to get in to do her job and witness the signing of the bill. She gets arrested. She gets arrested by the Georgia State Police. But we don't understand what's behind this and how this effort is being financed. This article here exposes all this, and they have Jessica Anderson on tape. They recorded her admitting what they're doing. And you think elections don't have consequences? Now, what's interesting is that the judges and the Supreme Court judges that Trump got confirmed, they largely came from lists from 2 organizations, the Heritage Foundation and the Federalist Societies. The Federalist Society, the Heritage Foundation and the Federalist Society, because they had lists of very ultra conservative, mostly white male candidates for the federal bench and U.S. Supreme Court. And read this full article, but it goes on to say, in some cases, this is Jessica Anderson explaining what they did. In some cases, we actually draft them for them, the bills, or we have a sentinel on our behalf give them the model legislation so it has that grassroots from the bottom up type of vibe. All right. Then she said the Georgia law had 8 key provisions that Heritage Action for America recommended. And Heritage Action is a sister organization to the Heritage Foundation. She told the foundation donors at an April 22nd gathering in Tucson, Arizona. Okay, read the rest of this. This is deep. We're going to get to Brian Flores on the other side of the break. This is the African History Network show. I'm Michael Imhotep. We'll be back in a few minutes. Yeah, Trump 2024 for prison, keyboard warrior. Real warriors ain't on the keyboard, so you just a damn troll. Bye-bye, troll. Yeah, Trump for prison in 2024. Yeah, I've got trolls in different area codes. They have nothing better to do. So, okay, we'll be back from break in 4 minutes. All right, now we've got okay, there was this one here from the Heritage Foundation. Did I see the Heritage Foundation? Have you all seen the commercials that the Heritage Foundation is running on the Black News Channel with Dr. King? Have you seen those commercials? We talked about it here. Because see, you got to know who these people are. Otherwise, they're gonna run game on you. I posted it on my Facebook fan page, the African History Network. I need to save it. Hold on, just stand by. We're back from break in 3 minutes. This right here, I posted February 1st. Okay, because I sent this to Roland Martin, and Roland wasn't familiar with the commercial. Okay, let me show you this here. Back from break in 2 minutes. Stand by. Now, how many people watch the Black News Channel? How many people watch the Black News Channel? Welcome back to the African History Network show right here on 9:10 a.m. the Superstation Future Radio. We're going to clip 2 in just a second, Shakita. Okay, so right before the break, we were talking about we're going to go to the story from about Brian Flores, but we were talking about the Heritage Foundation and how their sister organization, Heritage Action, is crafting and financing these voter suppression bills that are being pushed through Republican-dominated state legislatures. And there's been 19 states passing 34 bills. There's over 400 bills being proposed. All right. Now, during the break, and you've heard me talk about this before, the Black News Channel that I watch, and I know some of the commentators on the Black News Channel, Misha Cross and Candace Kelly and Dr. Julian Malveaux and some others. We're panelists on Roland Martin Unfiltered. Sometimes we're on the panel together. So this is not against them. But if you watch the Black News Channel, give us a thumbs up or whatever. Post on here. Let me know if you watch the Black News Channel. Have you seen this commercial that the Heritage Foundation is running on the Black News Channel. And they ran it during Dr. King Day, during that weekend. And they say they're promoting level up civics, and they're promoting understanding civics and things like this. And they reference Dr. King and show Dr. King in the speech and talk about Dr. King's legacy and all this stuff. Have you seen this? They're pimping Dr. King. They're pimping Dr. King. How do we know they're pimping Dr. King? Because their Heritage Foundation and their sister organization, Heritage Action, are working to dismantle Dr. King's legacy. See, this is why you can't slick a can of oil. This is where gang recognizes gang. I saw this BS on the TV, took a picture of it. I said, they're lying. They're lying. Because here you see, for number one, the list that Trump got his nominees from for the federal bench, these ultra-conservative, largely white males for the federal bench and the Supreme Court, came from the Federalist Society and the Heritage Foundation. Number two, the sister organization to the Heritage Foundation, Heritage Action, they're the ones crafting these voter suppression bills being pushed by Republicans through the state legislatures. And they admit all of it here in this article. Jessica Anderson, the executive director of Heritage Action, is recorded admitting all of this. So you can't, on the one hand, praise Dr. King when you work to finance dismantling his legacy. The same thing as John Lewis. You can't slick a can of oil. Gang recognizes gang. The Georgia law had 8 key provisions that Heritage Action recommended. Jessica Anderson, the executive director of Heritage Action for America, a sister organization to the Heritage Foundation, said. Now, research Paul Weyrich. Paul Weyrich is the founder of the Heritage Foundation. Okay, Paul Weyrich said Paul Weyrich, the Heritage Foundation was founded in 1973. It's a right-wing, ultra-conservative organization. Okay, now there's a recording of Paul Weyrich from about 1980 where he talks about how they don't want everybody to vote, and it's in their best interest if less people vote. Hold on. Okay, Shakita, I'm about to send this to you. This is important. Okay, see, this is the type of research that I do. I'll do a little entertainment here and there. This stuff right here, you're not going to get a whole lot of other places. I'm about to send this to you, Shakita. We're going to play this. This is Paul Weyrich. It's about a 30-second clip. Okay, cue that up and play that. Just play it when it's ready. Now, this is the founder of the Heritage Foundation. Okay, now if you haven't heard this before, well, I don't know what to tell you, but anyway. Okay, you should have it. So and if we go to, let's see here. This is on you. Go ahead and play. You got it?
So many of our Christians have what I call the goo-goo syndrome. Good government. They want everybody to vote. I don't want everybody to vote. Elections are not won by a majority of people. They never have been from the beginning of our country, and they are not now. As a matter of fact, our leverage in the elections, quite candidly, goes up as the voting populace goes down.
Woo! This is Paul. We got time. Jalen, run that back. It's only 30 seconds. I want people to hear this. Okay, this is the pimp game that conservatives are running. Play that again.
Have what I call the goo-goo syndrome. Good government. They want everybody to vote. I don't want everybody to vote. Elections are not won by a majority of people. They never have been from the beginning of our country, and they are not now. As a matter of fact, our leverage in the elections, quite candidly, goes up as the voting populace goes down.
So what Paul Weyrich, the founder of the Heritage Foundation, was admitting there is we see that the sister organization to the Heritage Foundation, Heritage Action, they are crafting these voter suppression bills to suppress the voter turnout, while at the same time they guys their GOP, their right wing, the conservative voters to come out and vote. They galvanized them with the big lie. They galvanized them with anti-critical race theory laws. They galvanized them with anti-vaccine mandates and anti-mask mandates, all this nonsense, and galvanized them to go to these banning books. You see, these are all going to be these hot button culture wars during the 2022 midterm elections, as well as the 2024 midterm elections. And this, in the Heritage Foundation, founded by Paul Wayrick passed away some years ago. The Heritage Foundation was one of the organizations that was given a list to Donald Trump of ultra-conservative Supreme Court nominees and federal bench nominees for Trump to choose from, the Heritage Foundation and the Federalist Society. And you think elections don't have consequences and Supreme Court doesn't mean anything. Okay, you keep believing that. These are the same people that want reparations, but not even making legal arguments for reparations. And then when reparations get challenged, where they get challenged at? In the courts. All right, those watching on Facebook and YouTube, we're out of time here on 9:10 a.m. Superstation WFDF. Those watching on those watching on Facebook and YouTube, keep watching. We're going to keep broadcasting for a few more minutes. We'll talk about Brian Flores. We're out of time on 9:10 a.m. Superstation WFDF. I'll be on Roland Martin Unfiltered on Friday. We'll talk about it on our Sunday show. We're on Sundays, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Right now, it's corrects wrong behavior. It's not over till we win. Wakanda forever. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Peace. All right, stand by. All right, let's go. Let's continue. All right, let's get to Brian Flores. I want to get to that. And here's this clip. Here's the clip of Paul Wayrick. Okay, see, this is stuff I was researching like in 2012, like 10 years ago. Okay, that's the clip of Paul Wayrick. And go look at the website. Go look at this website, levelupcivics.org. Just remember, it's from the Heritage Foundation. So they're working to craft laws to suppress the African-American vote and dismantle Dr. King's legacy and also John Lewis's legacy. So when you see them advertising this on the Black News Channel, you know what time it is. Gang recognizes gang. Let me see. You've got okay, there's this article here from, let me see, this is the right one. Okay, read this article here from Yahoo News. And they talk about Paul Wayrick. This is from January 27th, 2022. Commentary: Republicans' voting security laws are used to secure their power. Republicans' voting security laws are used to secure their power. Okay, that's Governor Greg Abbott of Texas, who's up for re-election, who needs to be thrown out of office, needs to be voted out of office. I don't want everybody to vote. Elections are not won by a majority of the people. They never have been from the beginning of our country, and they are not now. As a matter of fact, our leverage in the elections quite candidly goes up as the voting populace goes down. Our leverage in the elections quite candidly goes up as the voting populace goes down. So that's the gobsmacking statement was made in 1980 by Paul Wayrick, founder of the Heritage Foundation. He coined the phrase moral majority. Paul Wayrick coined the phrase moral majority, and he is considered the chief architect of the conservative movement after founding the Heritage Foundation and other influential groups. I think he co-founded the. I think he co-founded. Wait a second. He co-founded also. ALEC is the American Legislative Exchange Council. Founded in about 1973 or so, something like that. Also, if you watch the documentaries ALEC Exposed and Koch Brothers Exposed, and they're on YouTube. Because I researched this when I was researching privatized prisons in the prison industry back in like 2012. Okay, yeah. So look that up. All right, now. Republicans' refusal to support voting rights today prove that's still their North Star. Okay. It's not in their interest for more people to vote. They want less people voting. Democrats want every eligible citizen to easily vote, and that is exactly what the Freedom to Vote Act will do. Okay, so read the rest of this article here. Commentary: Republicans' voting security laws are used to secure their power, by Joni Ashbrook, January 27th, 2002. It's picked up by yahoonews.com. All right. We're going to go to the Brian Flores story here. Hey, if you like this type of information, you can support the African History Network, $ the AHN show through Cash App, $ the AHN show through Cash App, also through PayPal, paypal.me/the AHN show. And also visit our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. We have the information right on the homepage of our website. We have the Cash App link and information, and PayPal. Also, all of my DVD lectures, digital downloads, and online classes I teach are at our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. You can register for it there. This is our official Cash App account, $ the AHN show, SHOW. When you go to it, it says Michael, shows my picture here. These other ones are fake African History Network Cash App accounts. Here's our link. And then also you can click right there for PayPal. That helps us stay on the air, keep doing the research, pay the bills, etc. African American business owners, email us at ahnshow@AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. We'll let you know how you can advertise with the African History Network. Current promotion: buy 1 month, get 2 months free. All right, so this story broke on Tuesday, which is the first day of African American History Month. It's interesting. The lawsuit was filed that day, and people were going crazy when we got the news. New York Times has a big story about this, and Brian Flores was on All In with Chris Hayes on Wednesday. So I want to go to that interview. Brian Flores talked about Belichick text messages confirmed what we thought happened behind closed doors. We're going to cue that up. So here's what happened. Okay. All right, hold on. Okay, here's what happened. So Brian Flores was the head coach of the Miami Dolphins. He had a winning record. He got fired last month. New York Times has this story. Brian Flores sues. Hold on. Brian Flores sues N.F.L. claiming bias in coaching search. The former head coach of the Miami Dolphins claimed in a class action lawsuit filed Tuesday, February 1st, that the NFL discriminated against him and other black coaches in their hiring practices. Okay, so I want to go to, we're going to go to the story here from All In with Chris Hayes in just a minute. So Brian Flores, who was fired by the Miami Dolphins, was rejected for new jobs with other clubs. He has sued the NFL and its 32 teams, alleging that they discriminated against him and other African-American coaches in their hiring practices. His filing in federal court comes just days after the Giants, one of the teams he interviewed with for a position. The Giants named Brian Dable, who is white, as their head coach. Now, Brian Flores cited text messages he said were sent from his former boss, New England Patriots coach Bill Belichick. In the messages, Bill Belichick appears to congratulate Brian Flores for winning the Giants job as head coach, which he had yet to interview for at that point. So Brian Flores had not interviewed for the job yet. Flores responded to the text message by asking Bill Belichick if he had intended the message for Brian Dable, who interviewed before Brian Flores was scheduled for the meeting. Beck responded, "I think they are naming Dable. I'm sorry about that, BB." Bill Belichick. Now, a New York Giants spokesman, Pat Hanlon, said in a statement that the team was, quote, confident with the process that resulted in the hiring of Brian Dable, and that, quote, Flores was in the conversation to be our head coach until the 11th hour, end quote. A Patriots spokesman said he did not anticipate that the team would be issuing a response. Okay, New England Patriots. Now, and here's a picture here of Bill Belichick and Brian Flores, 2019 in Miami Gardens, Florida. Now, the NFL said it's deeply committed to ensuring equitable employment practices, and we will defend against these claims which are without merit. Now, somebody has to ask the question, well, wait a second, if your league in 2021 was like 59% African-American, why do you only have one African-American head coach? Still, Mike Tomlin. Why you only have one African-American head coach? Now, the screenshots of a conversation purportedly initiated by Bill Belichick, the notoriously tight-lipped coach, as well as other anecdotes that paint an unflattering portrait of Stephen Ross, the Miami Dolphins owner, provide a rare insight into the league's business in a class action lawsuit that contends there is widespread discrimination in the NFL. A class action lawsuit that contends there is widespread discrimination in the NFL. Okay, I want to go to this interview that Flores did on Wednesday, February 2nd on All In with Chris Hayes. Let's go to this clip.
Brian Flores joins me now, along with his attorneys, Doug Wigdor and John Alefterakis. Good to have you gentlemen here. Coach Flores, great to have you here.
Great. Thank you for having us.
I want to start with this, the decision to file this suit.
Yeah.
I've covered Kaepernick for years now. I have watched what happened to him. He never played in the league again. And he never played in the league when people would sit there at home being like, man, you use a quarterback in this league. Are you worried about what this means for your future, and why'd you decide to do it?
That's a question I've been asked a lot, and something I've thought about a lot. Something we talked about a lot as we came to the decision to file a lawsuit. And at the end of the day, this isn't about me. This is about Black and minority coaches Black and minority leaders who don't get an opportunity to showcase their skills, their leadership, their acumen, their intelligence, their abilities in whatever field it is. And in my case, and in NFL's case, as coaches and leaders in this league. Look, I love coaching. I love it. I mean, it's a passion of mine. It's something that I feel like I'm gifted to do. And there's a lot of Black and minority coaches who are gifted the same way I am. And we coach so we can impact young people so that they can go on and be not only good players, but good leaders in the community, good husbands, good fathers. It's not just football. It's never been that. And when you're, and we don't have enough coaches in leadership positions, Black coaches in leadership positions, specifically in NFL. And that's a disservice to me. To me, that's a disservice to the majority of the players that are in the league that are working towards the goal of becoming better players, better teams, that they don't see that as a goal that they can attain because there's nobody in those seats. And I think there's a specific reason why we need to change the hearts and minds of the people who make those decisions.
I want to talk about your years at the Patriots and relationship with Bill Belichick. I mean, you started at the ground level of that organization at the age of, 23, right? You'd
23.
Been a player at Boston College. I think you got injured. You weren't able to go in the NFL. You start there. You're there 16 years, 4 Super Bowls. What was your experience working up the ladder in there? How do you feel about Bill Belichick?
I had a great experience there. There's a lot of great people in that building. There's a reason why they've had so much success. I learned a lot about the game, myself, how to prepare, how to work, how to coach, how to teach. I grew exponentially when I was there, and there's a lot of things I learned. I have a lot of respect for a lot of people in that building, so I have nothing but good memories there.
What was I think a lot of people I know, and I got to say, everybody's group texts were blowing up about this lawsuit, and they were blowing up particularly about the Belichick, which is a kind of a nightmare scenario.
Yeah.
I mean, I think for people who have texted a thing they shouldn't have, for someone who's in your position on the wrong side of it, what was that? What was your reaction in that moment?
Shock, disbelief, disappointment, humiliation. Initially I thought he was talking to me, but once I found out that that wasn't meant for me, I was certainly in disbelief, certainly upset, and then I had a lot of different emotions about the hiring process and whether or not it was fair, whether or not I was going to get a real opportunity. It didn't sound like that and didn't feel like that, and that ended up being the case.
Chris, think about the fact that it took a mistaken text message to blow the lid off of everything that all Black minority candidates for coaching, executive positions, and quite frankly, we know extends societally, have known for a long time and suspected, but you don't have that smoking gun where, obviously the numbers speak for themselves.
Right.
There can't just be one qualified Black head coach to be a head coach in the NFL. That's ridiculous.
I got to say, again, I watched a lot of football. Like, the Dolphins were one of the stories this year. You guys started out 1-7, went 8-1 after that. A team that people had completely counted out was up until I think the 16th or 17th week of the season in the playoff one. Much to everyone's, Chris, the record there was pretty clear.
If you look at some of the stuff that happens, not just with the hiring, but with the firing practices as well, there are times in the rare instances when Black head coaches are brought in, they're either outwardly asked to tank, or they're just not given the resources. And when that happens, they're put in a position to lose for a year, possibly 2, get fired. And then that's when they get a draft pick, they hire a white coach. And the thing that happened here is coach did an exceptional job and won.
Well, that's part of the allegation lawsuit. And one of the most, I think probably the single most explosive claim is this offer that the owner of the Dolphins. Can you tell me about what the conditions were like when he gave you that offer? How?
Well, before we get to that, I think, speaking to John's point on what we deem as bridge coaches who come in and don't really get the resources. Those are oftentimes the jobs that Black and minority coaches get. It's unfortunate, but that's what it is. And I stepped into a situation like that, and to me, I accepted that challenge. I believe in my abilities as a coach, as a leader, as a motivator. So I was up for that challenge, and unfortunately, I was asked to not put my best foot forward and best effort to win ball games, to tank. And look, this game's done a lot for me. It really has. It's opened doors that would have never been open for me, and that's the case not just for me. That's a lot of our players. A lot of the players in our league have that same story, and I think that's part of the reason why I relate so well to players. So to disrespect the game is it's something I wouldn't stand for, and ultimately that strained some relationships in Miami.
I'll keep you here a few more minutes. That's all right. I want to ask. Just to follow
this may be the first interview I don't say anything with your great opening. We may hire you at our firm to deliver the opening for the trial. I have to let me just say, the only thing I really want to say really is just the courage that Brian has shown to stand up. He is the Rosa Parks of the NFL right now, to show putting himself second, because he's standing up, he's putting a lot on the line, and he's doing it to create this change. And it needs to happen.
I just fielded a call from a coach who was in tears on the phone because of experiences that he's had and he's dealing with, and it just I even have more I have more peace about this decision. I have more peace about it.
I want to present to you an argument that people will make about the Rooney Rule. It's not my personal view, but people will make it, which is that, okay, fine, there's a little bit of box checking here, but it does get you in the door. They're not in compliance. There's no rule that they have to contemplate you. They just have to interview you, and they did that. And maybe in 1 in 10 circumstances, you knock their socks off and they change direction. And what's so bad about that?
I would say I've heard that, and I understand that thought process to a degree, but I think the NFL is better than that. I think that the change that we need. I don't want to just come up with some new policies and say we're going to do this and do that and check some other boxes. What I'm looking for is a change in the hearts. And when I say I mean that, in the hearts and minds of people who make those decisions. People who haven't spent time with Black and minority people over the course of their lives, who aren't comfortable. Mm-hmm. I think that we need to be intentional of opening our minds to forming new relationships with people from different backgrounds, spending time, understanding that there's a different perspective, maybe a better perspective, a different way to build relationships, a different way to communicate.
The Rooney Rule doesn't work. There's one, as we've said now a couple times, there's one Black head coach.
Yeah.
I think it's time for the court to appoint a referee to oversee the NFL. The commissioner clearly isn't doing a good job at making sure that there's diversity amongst the coaches. It's time. That's why this litigation is so important. They haven't been able to do it on their own, and so now John and myself, and with the help obviously of our client and future clients as well, are going to make them do it.
And you know what? When you talk about this situation, how could it be equal opportunity to get a job when the job is promised before the Black or minority candidate interviews? That's not an equal opportunity. And when you're talking about who's in the position of power, they're all white owners, and not anybody who's ultimately going to potentially step out on a limb and really give an opportunity.
I got to say that, and I'm sure you've seen reaction to this, and it's been everywhere, right? A lot of reaction from black folks I know, friends of mine, other people online, of this, like, I have been in that interview and I have known I was trotted in there for window dressing, and I felt crazy and gaslit about it. Mm-hmm. And they went with another candidate, and there was something sort of re-traumatizing but catalyzing about seeing that text from Belichick say, "You're not crazy."
It confirmed what we thought was happening behind closed doors, and it confirmed that for me. And it's not just in football; it's in a lot of different industries.
Why was Belichick even consulting with the Bills and the Giants? I mean, last time I checked, he's on the Patriots. He's coached the Patriots. So, like, what is he doing with that information? Makes no sense.
What is the best outcome of this to you?
We create real change. And by that, it's not policies. I don't want any fluff here. That's not what we're looking for.
You just went through the Rooney Rule charade.
This is not about fluff. We need real change. And that to me starts here in your heart. Yeah. And you only get that through conversation, through dialogue, through communication. And I'm open to communicate with whoever it is about, what it's like to walk into that type of interview, what it's like for Black and minority leaders on the field. I mean, we have there's different ways to lead on the field. I mean, there's your position, coordinators. Yeah. So there's so many qualified and capable leaders on many different staffs in this league, and they need a real opportunity. And we got to be intentional about giving them opportunities.
Well, Coach Flores, Brooklyn's own, it's really wonderful to meet you. Thank you for making the time. Chris, Doug Door, John Alefterakis, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. So that was a great interview, great reporting by Chris Hayes, All In with Chris Hayes, MSNBC. That's from Wednesday, February 2nd, 2022. And that was former head coach of the Miami Dolphins, Brian Flores, and he was there with two of his attorneys. Check out and one of the things that he talks about is tanking, what they call tanking, and how sometimes head coaches are encouraged by the team owner, it could be the general manager or somebody like that, to lose a game or lose more than one game. So because the team will already have a losing record, so they will get a higher draft pick in next year's draft and work on rebuilding the team. But one of the things they were talking about here in this interview is how oftentimes African American coaches will be encouraged to tank a game so that the team scores higher in the draft for next year, gets a higher draft pick, but then the team will fire an African American coach and then go get a white coach to rebuild the team. So read this article here from New York Times. It's a pretty good article here, and they talk about the fact the legal hurdles that he has to meet to actually prove the case. This is on page 3 of the article. Let me go to this here. So in his suit, Brian Flores stated that there were more than 40 other coaches who could join the class action lawsuit. And if we just look at this here, okay, right here, this is where I want to go. This is on page 2 or page 3. I'm sorry, page 3. In his suit, Brian Flores stated that there were more than 40 other coaches who could join the class action, though he did not name any of them. Still, the case faces high legal hurdles, most prominently because Brian Flores needs to prove that race was specifically a factor in his being turned down for jobs. He needs to prove that race was specifically a factor in his being turned down for jobs, even as he continues to interview for open coaching positions, because he's still interviewing for open positions. Quote, I view this lawsuit next to impossible to succeed, and I'm extremely surprised he would put his career in jeopardy, said Brad Sohn, S-O-H-N, a lawyer who has represented numerous NFL players. Now, the NFL has acknowledged repeatedly that there are not enough coaches and team executives of color, even as about 70% of players are African American. Now, on the readout with Joanne Reed from I think this was from Wednesday, she had numbers from 2021, and the numbers from 2021 were saying that it's like 58% African American in the league. Let me try to pull this up here. They talked about a declining number of okay, maybe I didn't get it. All right. They talked about a declining number of African Americans in the NFL also, but it's still more than 50%. Okay, maybe I didn't get that. Okay, that's all right. Now, nearly 20 years ago, the league introduced the Rooney Rule, which requires teams to interview a diverse list of candidates for coaching and general manager positions. All right. Now, the league has expanded and strengthened those guidelines since the rule's introduction, as the number of Black coaches has failed to grow appreciably and fallen in some years. Yet the league still has only a handful of non-white men in head coaching jobs, with Brian Flores' ouster. Mike Tomlin of the Pittsburgh Steelers is the only African-American head coach in the league, while Ron Rivera of the Washington football team, that just changed their name to the Commanders, is the NFL's only Hispanic head coach. The Jets' Robert Saleh is believed to be the league's first Muslim Arab American head coach. Now, Black coaches have long complained that they are often called for interviews simply so teams can comply with the Rooney Rule, and that they were not considered serious candidates. Brian Flores named other Black coaches he said have been discriminated against, including the former Indianapolis Colts and Detroit Lions head coach Jim Caldwell, the former Cardinals head coach Steve Wilkes, and the former Texans head coach David Culley, who was fired last month after one season. All right, so check out the rest of this article here from the New York Times. This is from February 1st, 2022, Tuesday, February 1st, 2022. Brian Flores sues NFL, claiming bias in coaching search. Okay, and then there's a piece from, I posted this on my personal Facebook page, Michael Imhotep. There's a piece from the Detroit Free Press today. And let me find this. Hold on. Okay, there's a piece from the Detroit Free Press. It's either today or yesterday. I think it was about Jim Caldwell. Hold on. Okay, this one right here from the Free Press. Agent Detroit Lions conducted sham interview with Terrell Alston, and Jim Caldwell firing. This is from February 3rd, 2022, from the Detroit Free Press. Agent Detroit Lions conducted a sham interview with Terrell Alston and Jim Caldwell firing. The agent for former Detroit Lions defensive coordinator Terrell Alston said the Lions conducted a sham interview with his client only to satisfy the NFL's Rooney Rule. Alston, Lions defensive coordinator in 2014 and 2017, was one of two in-house candidates and two minorities who interviewed for the head coaching job after Jim Caldwell was fired, who's an African-American coach. He got fired. Jim Caldwell got fired from the Lions. Then the next season, maybe the next two seasons, Lions had horrible seasons after they got rid of Jim Caldwell, the black guy. Okay, after Jim Caldwell was fired following the 2017 season. Now, at the time, the Rooney Rule required NFL teams to interview at least one minority candidate for head coaching vacancies. Jim Caldwell had 36 wins and 28 losses in 4 seasons with the Lions. He led the organization to 2 playoff appearances, including an 11-5 record in 2014. African-American coach Jim Caldwell. The franchise's best mark since 1991. Jim Caldwell led the no good Lions to an 11-5 record, which was in 2014, which was their best record, franchise record, the best franchise record since 1991. And the no good Lions fired him. But Jim Caldwell was let go 2 years later after the Lions fired general manager Martin Mayhew and President Tom LaWand at mid-season. Okay, so read the rest of this here. All right, this is from the Detroit Free Press. Okay. If you like this type of information, you can support the African History Network, $ the AHN Show through Cash App, $ the AHN Show through Cash App, also through PayPal, paypal.me/the AHN Show, paypal.me/the AHN Show, and visit our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, because we have the information right there. You can also register for the online classes I teach. Who still needs to register for the online classes we have starting up this weekend, Saturday, February 5th, Sunday, February 6th. Now, if you've taken any of the online classes with me before, email me at ahnshow@AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. You'll get a 50% discount on these new classes. All right. So, okay, we have the information here for Cash App and PayPal. When you scroll down, you can register for the online classes. Sunday, class number 1 of Ancient Kemet, the Moors, and the Ma'afa, understanding the transatlantic slave trade, where they didn't teach you in school, begins. And we deal with thousands of years of history and what leads up to the transatlantic slave trade taking place. This class is regularly $130. It's on sale $80. And we have a special bundle pack. You can register for both classes for only $120. That's a $260 value. Even after the class is over with, you can still have full access to the class. You can still watch the full class. I do a PowerPoint presentation. We have book references, articles, video clips, everything. Okay. And the class is very visual. You can use this information also with your children. I would say the information is PG-13. So it's not overly graphic. I'm not doing a lot of cursing, things like that. Then the second class I teach, the second one starts up on Sunday, from the Civil War to the Civil Rights Movement and Black Power, 1865 to 1968. That's going to be 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time also. We do the sessions live. All the sessions are archived and recorded. You can go back and watch them anytime, okay? So this class is on sale $80 as well. And we have a special bundle pack. You register for both classes for only $120. And if you've taken any of the online classes with me before, email me at TheAHNShow@AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, and we'll give you 50% off discount. All right, look, we have to get out of here. Remember, at the African History Network, we focus on educating, empowering, and inspiring people of African descent throughout the diaspora and around the world, because right now it's correct wrong behavior. I'll be on Roland Martin Unfiltered on Friday. So check me out there. And download the Black Star Media app to your devices. You can watch Roland Martin Unfiltered, and also follow Roland on Facebook and YouTube at Roland Martin. And I'm a panelist usually each Friday on Roland Martin Unfiltered. All right. Okay. Follow us here on Facebook and YouTube. Turn on live notifications so you know when we go live as well. And then sign up for our email newsletter. Text the word Kemet, K-E-M-E-T, to 22828. To sign up for our email newsletter, text the word Kemet, K-E-M-E-T, to 22828 to sign up for our email newsletter. All right, we have to get out of here. Remember, the African History Network, we focus on educating, empowering, and inspiring people of African descent throughout the diaspora and around the world. Because right now, it's correct wrong behavior is not over till we win. Wakanda forever. And